Right, it looks like TwiZZ is ready. If we can get confirmation from Arturoth, we will be able to begin.
Alright, let's get it going. Okie dokie. We are going live in 5, 4, 3. Alright, everyone, welcome back once again to the Speedcast presentation in association with IvDYogiTime.com. This is the IvDYogiTime.com tournament number 27, a Gold and Silver League tournament here on this beautiful Wednesday night. It's going to be another round of 32 match between these two players, but joining me once again is going to be Zertox, a.k.a. Jamil. How's it going?
It's going all right. In the top left, we have our Protoss. He's yellow, and he's named TwiZZ.
Yeah. His opponent in the bottom right-hand corner, the blue Zerg, he is Arturoth. In our last game, we did see a 4-gate coming out against a Terran player. A little bit harder to execute that, some would say, against a Terran than it would be against a Zerg. So we'll see if we do happen to see another early gate aggression. But with that first pylon going to be plopped down onto the low ground there, it looks like it could be a Forge Fast expansion coming out of our Protoss player.
That is correct, and it looks like Azeroth is sending his, Arturoth is sending an Overlord cross map. Maybe he's sending it that way so that he can do some scouting later at particular timings, figure out what our Protoss is up to.
Yeah, getting that Overlord into the natural pace over there allows you to really easily see if your opponent is going to be going to that Forge Fast expansion with the increased Overlord speed that we got about 4 months ago now. It's able to get over there before there could possibly be a cannon down, unless they go Forge, Cannon, Nexus, something like that. There might be a possibility, but you should be able to get your Overlord out of there before it dies. So that's actually a really nice way to know what your opponent is doing, and then you're even able to get in there and check for gas timings at that crucial 6 to 7 minute area to see if he's taken all 4 of his gases or not. So,
and it looks like we have a probe going possibly to create a proxy pylon in the bottom left side of the map here.
Yeah, TwiZZ is going to be hiding that probe over there. And like you said, it could be for a proxy pylon. It could be so that he can go back and check for that third a little bit later right now. And as 400 minerals comes up here, we do see our Protoss player go ahead and drop that Nexus down. So he's going to be going with that Forge Fast Expand, Forge, then Nexus. Not going to be choosing to do Nexus first, like you might see from some other players. And we do see our Zerg doing something a little bit unusual here, and that is an Extractor here on 18 supply. So he's going to be going for very early gas. This could symbolize, to me at least, that this could be either early speed or even roach aggression. Not likely at this point that he's going to be taking a third, and that's something that our Protoss player is going to be rather aware of right now, as he's been camping that third spot relatively vigilantly, making sure that if there's a third going down, he knows that it's going to be going down.
And our Protoss player has put down a gateway, so he's starting to get his tech out. He has just one cannon defending his natural, but that should be alright at this point.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to point out here is that Forge Fast expansion is actually done a little bit wrong here. There's actually a larger gap in between the cannon and the pylon than you would like to see. That's not something that's going to be able to be blocked by just one unit. That's something that something like a Archon could block, but not a Zealot. It's going to take 2 Zealots to block that one, actually, unless he puts down another unit.
Right, so he could be susceptible to some Zergling run-bys, should our Zerg player choose to do that.
Definitely, and with that early gas, we'll see if the Zerg player does go ahead and spot that. Right now, he's got the Overlord in position on the high ground up there, and the Overlord does, in fact, see the positioning of the buildings, so he might be very well aware of what is going on. But at home for our Zerg player, that third hatchery has, in fact, come down.
It looks like our Zerg player is going for a very macro-focused build here. Having 3 hatcheries, he's getting his gas, but he hasn't put down any tech yet as far as speed or lair. It'll be interesting to see which one he goes for first. That might give us an indication of what direction he's going to take this game.
Yeah, with that very early gas there, I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't used any now, banking all the way up to 300 for now. That's minerals that he could have been using to accelerate his economy even further if he wasn't going to use that a little bit earlier. But we do see the speed for Zerglings going to be coming out here right now as he does go all the way up to 3 gases, taking both of the extractors in his natural and even the 4th one there in his main, going up to 4 gases as his Protoss opponent does go ahead and drop that robotics facility down.
Right, and now he also sees that because he has that Overlord in the Protoss is natural, he does see that Protoss is taking a 3rd gas. So he knows that this is going to be a very gas-heavy build for the Protoss player.
Yeah, with 3 gases right now, that 4th gas going to be currently absent, and the robotics facility that he's already seen, I would very much so expect this to be something like an Immortal Sentry push. We do even see Sentries going to be starting to come out here, and a few gateways going to be dropped. Normally you would see 6 gates with an attack like this, or about 4 gates if you're going to be looking to expand very quickly. So we'll see the number of gates that the Protoss player does go ahead and drop. Overlord is going to be pushed out and killed by the Stalker over there in the Protoss's natural. Making sure.
And it looks like we do have 2 gates going down in the main. We have our Warp Gate technology coming out, as well as an Immortal.
Yeah, with that Immortal, he's going to have some real stopping power against Roaches. Lair back at home for our Zerg player has been started, and with that 4 gases, he's going to be able to have a lot of options to do a lot of different techs with all the gas that he's been saving, all the way up to 800 gas right now. And with no Roach Warren down, it's all the Roach Warren just went down there. But I was going to be a little bit scared for him, say he doesn't really have a lot of stopping power in just Zerglings for the time being. Total of 4 gateways going to be coming up for his opponent, with the 2nd Immortal going to be coming out.
Right. As you said, those Immortals can be absolutely brutal to Roach pushes.
Yeah. But with that 1100 gas that he's got banked right now, if he were to make, let's say, 8 Infestors, Infestors will absolutely murder gateway-based armies. And even armies with Immortals in them. The Infestors, the Infested Terrans, do absolutely fantastic against that based army. You need to have High Templar or Colossus in there to really deal with a high Infestor count. So that's what I would like to see out of our Zerg player right here. Double Evolution Chamber going to be going down, so he wants to get his upgrade started, doesn't want to fall too far behind on his opponent right now. With the +1 already completed for the Protoss, that's something that I would say is a very wise investment.
Right, and I think it is worthy to note that our Protoss player is still not aware of that 3rd base by the Zerg player.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that he probably assumes that it's there, but very good job in pointing out that he actually was not aware of that for a long time. I'm looking at his vision. He did see the hatchery at one point. He hasn't seen that it's completed, so he doesn't know what the saturation or anything like that is. But we actually do see melee and carapace upgrades going to be coming out right now, so not choosing to go ahead and do ranged upgrades. This means that he is going to be looking to draw this out into a little bit longer of a game. He's going to be getting those upgrades for his Zerglings. He's going to be getting those upgrades for his Broodlings, and possibly even Ultralisks. Not going to be looking to end this game on a Roach-based composition.
But he did put an infestation pit down, so perhaps he is going to get out some infestors here, or maybe he just did it so that he can go to quickly get to high tech.
Yeah, with that pathogen glands upgrade not currently working, I wouldn't expect him to start pumping infestors right now. The infestors are greatly diminished. Their powers are not as good right now, but it looks like the Zerglings are actually going to get a decent flank onto some of these Mortals, and the Sentries, Roach is going to be even chomping away at some of these Immortals in the back over here, but the Immortals are actually being protected by some very nice force fields. Both Immortals do end up falling right there, and it looks like the Protoss player is going to continue to fight this right now, but a lot of these very important Sentries are going to be falling. So many force fields are going to be coming out right here, and Zealot's finally going to be connecting here onto the Roaches, but there is only one sentry left right now, and even the last sentry is going to fall, so this army has just been knocked back to the Stone Ages. Literally the only units left are the Stalkers and the Zealots. That's not something you want to be fighting a 1-1 army from the Zerg with.
Right, without those key sentries, he's not going to be able to get that great force field placement, which is so needed.
And those speed roaches even going to be making their way up onto the zealots right here. Every one of these zealots are going to be picked off. Well, actually, he loads up into that warp prism right there, so very nice job in that event. One Zergling going to be getting in there and trying to finish off this last Stalker. It does not. Oh, actually, the Roaches coming and clean that up, and a couple of nice force fields going to be going down there, making sure that the Roaches aren't able to press further into the natural. But these buildings are going to start getting taken out and segmenting the forces very nicely right there. All the Roaches up on the high ground are going to be taken out by the Immortals, the Cannons, and the Stalkers. And the Zerg going to go ahead and choose to retreat for the time being. Let's take a look at his situation back home. Pathogen gland still has not been upgraded, but like you said, that hive just starting right now. So getting that 13-minute hive relatively fast, and he's going to be able to get some really high-tech stuff out pretty soon here.
Yes, he may go for Ultralisks, or he may go for the what is affectionately known as the Crackling upgrade for his Zerglings, where you get the adrenal glands.
Yeah, and without splash damage out for his opponent right now, no Colossi, no High Templar with Storm, those Lings are actually extremely effective against those gateway-based armies. Infestor plus Ling is actually just brutal against Zealot, Stalker, Sentry, and Immortal. It will just crush through all of that. So we'll see what the Protoss player is going to go ahead and respond with. Right now, he's going to be taking his third right there, plopping that Nexus down. And once that Nexus comes up, he's actually going to be in a much better economic position than his opponent right now. Only operating off of 54 drones, going to be about 6 drones under saturation currently at his third, working off of all 6 of those gases. So his gas count is nice and high, sitting at 182 supply right now, and sitting at about 50% more army value than his opponent. If he just goes ahead and pushes in right now, with the amount of energy on those infestors, he's going to be able to land a couple of nice fungals and getting a pretty decent concave. Just going to go ahead and move right on up. A couple of fungals are, in fact, going to be going down as the first and second Immortals are indeed going to fall. Nice force field is going to be coming down there, once again segmenting quite a bit of the army. And it actually looks like these Immortals are doing a pretty good job of cleaning up the Roaches, but I think there might just be too much Zerg right here. We even see that there's another wave sitting back at home in case this one does get cleaned up, but these Roaches are actually they look like they might get cleaned up here, and the Infestors wisely going to retreat, go ahead and save their energy for another day. One more Mortal is going to be the last one holding for the time being, and the Roaches do want to snipe that one off, and it actually is going to fall right there. But the Zealots, in addition to the Cannons, are going to go ahead and clean up the rest of those Roaches. But look at back home. Look how much stuff he's already got set up again. Already back up to 28 Roaches.
And while
rough.
that battle was going on, both Burrow Tech and Tunneling Claws finished. So these Roaches, if needed, can move around underground and get around those force fields.
Yeah, that's actually an upgrade that people have been neglecting quite a bit recently. You used to see that about 6 months ago. You used to see that every single game. And lately in professional level play, people have just been neglecting it, saying that's not something that I need, but it's actually very good against this composition. Being able to sidestep those force fields, really important to get onto those high value units like your Immortals, like your Sentries, even your Colossi. So we'll see how that Burrow upgrade does go ahead and come into play here. Infestor's back at home, going to be going and recuperating energy as the Spire is going up, so he could very likely be transitioning into that Broodlord tech, as his opponent is going to be researching Blink and even drop to Templar Archives here. So he could be going for Storm, or he could be looking to produce some Archons. And that fourth base is going to be going down. Warp Prism going to make its way into the third right now, but the entire Zerg army is there to meet it, and these Infestors might even fungal it down right here. Going to go into phasing mode and promptly just get fungled to death.
Right, and one thing to note is that our Zerg player has made a bunch of Zerglings as well, and the Adrenal upgrade is almost finished, so those Zerglings are going to be much more dangerous than ordinary Lings.
Yeah, like you said, that Crackling upgrade, that actually increases their DPS by a ton. And with no splash damage still out on the map. Right now, warping in some High Templars, but I don't see any Archons on the field. Psystorm is not upgrading with no splash damage out. Those Lings are going to absolutely devastate a Protoss army without splash damage.
Right, and we do see another High Templar come out. It'd be interesting to see if he's going to conserve the energy for feedbacking the infestors or storms, or if he's just going to make straight-up Archons.
Yeah, we will see. Right now, our Zerg player banking a ton of minerals. I'd kind of like to see him just max out right here and trade out some of his supply for the supply of his opponent. But it looks like he's actually just going to be sitting there and wants to be able to get those Corruptors out. The Greater Spire almost all the way done right now, as +2 ground attacks for weapons and ranged weapons and melee are both completed. But right now the Zerg player going to be sweeping in right here. The Zergling's going to make good contact onto the Protoss, and some nice force field's going to come out and segment a lot of the Roach army. The Infestor's not able to quite get in there and land enough Funkles right now, but the Zerglings and Roaches are doing so much damage. A couple of nice feedbacks onto some Infestors there, but the entire Protoss army has been cleaned up at this point, over doubling his opponent's supply. The Infestors still have so much energy, they can plop down so many infested Terran, and look at that, about 10 infested, 15, 20 infested Terran going to be coming out right there, and they are going to clean up this entire Protoss base. The Roaches, the Zerglings, the infested Terran providing so much damage, and GG comes out of TwiZZ right there. And Arturoth, our Zerg player, going to go ahead and take this game, take this best-of-1 series, and he's going to be moving on. Whew. Quite the game there, quite the ZVP. Any closing words here, Jamil, before we go ahead and move on?
No, I think the Zerg player there took it very handedly. I think he reacted very well. I look forward to seeing his future matches.
Yeah. I think he's going to be going up against Yuffie, the first player that we cast, the one that did the 10 pool in our first game. So we'll see if he's able to hold off the aggression and show off his macro skills once again when they go up in our round of 16 matches, which I do believe we're probably going to be getting into very soon here. Once again, I've been your casting host, Beef. Joining me is Jamil, a.k.a. Zertos. I appreciate you hanging out here. We've been casting for the IvDYogiTime.com tournament number 27. Check them out over at IvDYogiTime.com for all their information on their 3 weekly tournaments. We will catch you in the next game. Great job.
Thanks. I goofed with the vision of the third. I realized after I said it. Oh,
it's all good.